In the year 2018, there was a quiet English cathedral city that woke up under a chemical cloud and a state-sized lie. Salisbury, with its medieval spire and market square, became ground zero for one of the most brazen uses of a nerve agent on European soil since World War II. On March 4th, 2018, Sergei Skripal, a former Russian military intelligence officer who had betrayed Moscow by spying for British intelligence and had been resettled in the United Kingdom after a 2010 spy swap, sat on a bench in the city center with his adult daughter, Yulia. Witnesses described two people at nearby benches. Within hours, both were found unconscious and suffering symptoms that baffled local first responders. A small shopping mall, a quiet park bench, a hospital wing, ordinary places became crime scenes. Tests at the Defense Science and Technology Laboratory at Porton Down identified a Novichok-class nerve agent, a Soviet-era military compound never intended for civilian use. The consequences were immediate and terrifying. Emergency crews in hazmat suits, police cordons stretching across neighborhoods, schools and businesses shuddered for days. The public, once reassured that government institutions would protect them, learned that an invisible killer could be placed on a door handle, a bench, a discarded item, and travel from hand to hand. The British government alleged state-sponsored assassination. Investigators named two men who had entered the UK on Russian passports and traveled to Salisbury within hours of the attack. International investigative journalism groups later exposed the men's real identities as officers of Russia's military intelligence agency, the GRU, and revealed travel records, CCTV images, and links to other clandestine operations. The suspects appeared on Russian state television months later, offering a staged story that they were tourists who had come to see the cathedral. Their faces were broadcast, their contradictions were recorded. London issued arrest warrants, Moscow denied involvement. The conspiracy extended beyond a single attempted murder. On June 30th, 2018, 3 months after the bench attack, a second horror unfolded. Dawn Sturgis, a 44-year-old local mother and charity shop volunteer, picked up what she thought was a small sealed perfume bottle discarded in a park. She uncapped it. The vial contained enough Novichok to fatally poison her. Dawn collapsed at home. She died on July 8th. Her partner, Charlie Rowley, survived but was critically ill. A community that had been the backdrop to everyday life now mourned a neighbor and lived with the knowledge that an assassination attempt had left a lethal parcel drifting in public space. The facts painted a deliberate picture. A foreign intelligence service tracked a former asset on British soil, used a military-grade nerve agent, moved covertly into a peaceful city, and then left behind a hazard that killed an innocent. The documentary trail, police reports, forensic analyses, travel logs, open-source sleuthing by journalists, established a chain of action and intent. The motive was revenge and deterrence, a message to defectors and a signal of reach. The methods were brazen and reckless, showing disregard for international norms and civilian lives. Diplomacy turned to countermeasures. Dozens of Russian diplomats were expelled from capitals across Europe and North America. Britain rallied allies and took the case to the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. The Kremlin denied state culpability and accused the West of political theater. Investigative groups continued to publish dossiers tying the operatives to GRU units, responsible for previous clandestine operations. Courts, international bodies, and the press argued over proof and intent. The human stories of suffering remained indisputable. Salisbury's horror is not only the violence of a toxin, but the corrosive effect of a conspiracy that uses secrecy, false identities, and state denial. It showed how modern warfare and espionage can trespass into civilian life, how a small vial can carry geopolitics into a playground, and how truth requires painstaking verification in the face of obfuscation. Years on, the city still bears the memory. Benches cleaned, bottles removed, conversations about safety reframed by the knowledge that a foreign hand once placed a weapon on its streets. The case stands as a modern parable, a reminder that the machinery of state power can be turned into a tool of horror, and that ordinary people often pay the cost.